Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Hug Nation's Love Morning. I'm John, aka Halcyon, aka Commander Happy Pants, and I am here to join you and connect and share some gratitude with each other. So, what are you grateful for? You can share it as a comment. We are live here on YouTube and on Facebook. And the archive is in both those places as well. So say hello, leave a comment. I was not here yesterday because this is an everyday practice unless it's not, meaning I sometimes value self care or travel or something like that. So yesterday I had a self care day and I slept long. So I decided that I would, well, I didn't decide. I decided I was not going to set any alarms and I slept through. So hopefully you were focused on your gratitude wherever you were. And as always, we start with a song that is so good. And if it is a gratitude song, it puts you in the mood. And that is not a good rhyme, and you'll probably get kind of upset. And if that is a hard rhyme, man, you better dust it. Okay, I gotta admit, this day has been hard. I just had a cup and a half of coffee, hoping that that would like jumpstart me, but I'm having trouble getting my groove today. So hopefully we'll do it together. What are you grateful for? Okay, I'm grateful for all of the things that are working well in my body because I woke up thinking about all the things that weren't. I've been really struggling. I had my tinnitus, whatever you want to call it, like turned up in volume over the last few weeks. I think it's because I've been chewing so much gum, but either way, it's annoying and scary. And my back hurts really bad this morning. I think long sleeping is not good for it, which is the thing that sucks. Okay, I'm not doing very good with gratitude. Let me reframe. I'm grateful to see you, Steve. And hello, Silver. And good morning, Jeff. Thank you, Silver. Just a few days ago, I sang one of the, I think the best songs I've ever sang. This morning's didn't I don't know what. I took a day off yesterday. Maybe that's it. Just like one day off, and suddenly you lose your rhythm. Okay, back to gratitude. I'm grateful. Oh, I know what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for a pre-waking cuddle session with Lisa this morning. That was just so delicious. Usually I don't risk cuddling up to her before she's woken, but like my favorite thing is when we're both awake, but we don't have to get out of bed for 5 minutes and we just kind of cuddle in the morning because we don't sleep intertwined. And this morning, I was like, I'm gonna just hope that she has plans to get up soon and that she didn't have sleeping problems. Because sometimes if she's up all night, I don't want to wake her in the morning. So I kind of cuddled up next to her and she stirred a little bit and we had a little 5 minutes of spooning in the morning. And man, I think that's my favorite thing. A little cuddle, a little morning cuddle with my beloved makes life pretty incredible. So I'm grateful for that. Jeff says, I'm just happy that the universe is letting us all be here today. Agreed. Except I would even, as you said it, I was like, perhaps it's not just the universe let us, perhaps it's led us with an Lead. Maybe we're all supposed to be here. We had no choice. The universe is like, these folks, they should get together today. That would be good for the universe. So let's all get together and share some gratitude. So thank you for leading us, Jeff. Good morning, DTO. And congrats on your streams. I just saw you post something about some 4 million. Was that what it was? I'm not good with numbers and decimal points, but I think it was a whole lot of listens to your music, which is really inspiring. And I'm grateful that so many people are getting to be enhanced by your gifts. I'm grateful for all the opportunities to learn. And one of the places that I've been learning since the beginning of the year is in grieving. And I've got the celebration of life for Janus is this Sunday, and I'm going to be kind of leading the ceremony, master of ceremonies, sort of. But I've also been working on the Stay Sparked episode, tribute episode that we just launched, which is a bunch of clips of Janus as well as people telling stories that knew him well. And so that just went live. So I'm grateful for that opportunity, and grateful for I also have dozens of clips that I've been uploading to the Remembering Red Moon YouTube channel. So that's all been a beautiful part of this process of grieving. But linked into this grieving gratitude is the men's group that I helped co-lead last weekend. And, a big kind of the last third of the day, we were talking about grieving. And I was feeling like since Janus got really sick, that I had been in this deep classroom of loss and grief. And I was, and I am. But in the men's group, as people shared their experiences and the limited access to grieving and grieving resources and even role modeling, and I really realized that even though I thought I had been studying and really in this classroom, the realm of grief is so ever present as part of being a human being, and it's so complicated and evolved, and I think I just have so much more to learn. There's so many. I'm learning there's more of these walls of protection that I have that I need to work on. Yeah. So I'm really grateful for all of the men and that I know and that I've crossed paths with and get to learn from, that are helping me to recognize the growth areas in grief. Good morning, Brent. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Juan. Andrew says, it's hard to be grateful sometimes. Sometimes we will be injustice that is being perpetrated around us. I try hard to be grateful for how lucky I am and my ability to still help others, but it isn't easy. You ain't lying, Andrew. I mean, I have found that an activity that I used to do frequently, which is hang out on Facebook, I can't do it anymore. There's so much evidence, so many reminders of injustice and of a system in jeopardy that it hurts, and it's really hard to stay in gratitude. I agree, but I think that one of the things that is it's part of that is grief. For me, is how do I find a healthy way to face the world and find gratitude, or to vacillate. Sometimes I can't hold both, but sometimes I can go, okay, I'm going to be distraught for a few minutes, maybe even put a timeline on it. Someone told me that recently, like, hey, I'm going to let myself be so bummed out and frustrated and pissed for the next 20 minutes. And then give myself permission to return to gratitude. Like, I'm going to give myself 20 minutes to be like, my body's falling apart, my back hurts, my tinnitus, I'm getting a bald patch right here, oh man. And then let it go back, then refocus. I had a dream that I told somebody about Crapper Cone. Man, I've been having weird dreams. Oh my gosh, I had a dream that I was living in a country that was taken over by like an intense authoritarian government. And wow, that was really stressful and intense, trying to figure out and trying to like find my brother and tell him like, careful what you say out loud. And Good morning, Michelle. That's right. Michelle reminded us it's the first day of spring, and it turned cold here and snowing. Well, spring, you know what they say, spring flowers and snow. I don't know. Michelle saying you're entitled to your feelings and grief. And I think I definitely believe that. But I also believe, or I'm trying to figure out, like, how do we stay in control of our feelings and grief? You know, I want to feel, I don't want to deny my feelings, but I also don't want to be overwhelmed or the victim of my feelings. You know, I find that if I get too overwhelmed and too fearful, too sad, too frustrated, it's a big one, frustration, that I can get caught there and then struggle to experience the joy, struggle to appreciate life. And so that is the big struggle, or not struggle, the big classroom opportunity challenge of being alive in a world that is so connected and we're so aware of the suffering of so many and the injustice. You know, how do we live in that world and experience the full spectrum of human joy, triumph, loss, grief? How do we stay in moving through our feelings instead of getting stuck in them? I think the algorithm is incentivized to keep us stuck in a loop of frustration and anger. And so we have to find ways outside of social media, outside of news feeds, that can keep us moving through our feelings. Silver says, grateful for our gratitude. Yes. Jess says, getting old is a trip. Yeah, it is. I mean, sometimes I feel very like old when I compare it to how I once felt. You know, how easy physical things were, how rarely I got hurt, or if I did get hurt, how quickly I recovered, how rare pain was. You know, how, I mean, I'm so grateful. Like, I'm my age, and I'm complaining about the thinning that's happening right here, you know, my hair. But, you know, for my peers, there's lots of people that have way less hair than me. So, you know, and if I think about one of the greatest memes I ever saw, or it was like a Instagram post, it was the idea of, you know, when you get frustrated about your age or your body, imagine yourself at 80 or 85, like struggling with your achy pain body and everything, and really, you know, struggling, everything hurts, and then waking up into the body you have now and knowing that you've got a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades of being able to do things. You know, the things that I can do in this body, even with the limitations that have, are, I mean, most things I can still do. Most places I can still travel. Most activities, you know, I can still have vigorous sex, you know, like that's not going to be an option if my body gets continually decrepit. So, remembering that the state it's in now is incredible. It's only a negative, or there's only complaints if I compare it to me at, you know, 30. And that goes to a big part of, like, when they say be present, it's not just, you know, be of empty mind. It's start again. Start again. Do not compare. Do not get caught in that whatever narrative that is. Just what is now. Love what is. The Byron Katie idea, you know. Byron Katie, one example of like, if you get in an accident and lose your legs, you won't be upset because you have no legs. You'll be upset because you wish you still had your legs. If all you have is no legs, then that's just what is, and you experience life like that. The suffering comes with the comparing to what was, or the wishing that what wasn't. Whew, that is like such a powerful spiritual tool, the Byron Katie, the work, and learning to love what is. Good morning, Gerabot. Good to see you. Brent recommending the You're It Alan Watts YouTube. Awesome. Alan Watts was my go-to for everything for a long time. Now, lately it's been Ram Dass or Michael Singer, but still love me some Alan Watts. Michelle says, that's when I have to talk to myself and say, look at all the beautiful things and happy times that person brought to my life. But okay, stay there for a moment, but not forever. Nice. Brent says, I'm grateful for ibuprofen 400 today. I started the day with a couple ibuprofen. Yeah, feeling better. Silver saying, maybe we can be thankful that being alive can experience all of the emotions, truly feel them and let them go while remaining in gratitude. I think that's it. And I think that what I've found is that social media inhibits my ability to do that. At least the way I've been using social media. I should say that being here with you, the last, 15 minutes, I feel different. I feel I'm more connected to gratitude. So I guess that's a big vote for continuing this practice. I'm also, as I just caught myself, I'm grateful for my new hat. I made this. I ordered a beige trucker's hat, and then I had this custom patch. I saw a place that made custom patches and with different. So I picked the coloring and the word, and so now I got my custom grateful trucker hat to go with all my beige outfits for my Halcyon the White phase. Gerbot says, grateful for time off work to rest and recover. Also grateful for muscle relaxers. Start again. Gerbot is grateful to be here now and grateful for friends checking in on him. That is nice. Brent says, I wish I'd worked my body this hard when I was in my 30s and 40s. Thanks, Gerbot. I'm pleased with how this hat. Also, so here's, I got a couple hats. I also got this one. This is the Heart-Centered Men logo that I made with AI, and then I had this printed on these like cloth stickers. So this is actually just a sticker on a hat, which so far I think is working, but it's not quite as durable. But I like that one too. One of the reasons why I invested in some hats that I would like is because as of now, I'm planning on growing my hair. And two things. As my hair is crazy, as it gets thick and tall, it requires some taming. And with this like egg in the grass, like I think there's a lot of times when as my hair is growing out, that I'm going to require a hat. So don't tell anyone, but I'm dealing with vanity. Michelle says, I'm grateful for finding you on this platform, and you're such a positive influence on love and learning to practice gratitude daily. I really appreciate that. Did I already tell you about the 5-year anniversary? I think I did, of the gratitude circles. We should do a celebration here sometime. How long have we been doing this? Almost as long. I think Love Mornings has been 1 year. I think Love Morning started a year after the gratitude circles. I should do some research. We should make a date to have a celebration, because I agree, this practice has been a profound influence on my life. I would say as much as the gratitude circles, because that's kind of what this is. Yeah, and I really, in the 5-year anniversary, as people were going around sharing how the practice had changed their lives, I was really feeling like this is significant work. This is, So it reminds me, I just saw this like Marcus Aurelius quote that Jerry Seinfeld said. It was like, you should spend all your time trying to get better at what you do. And I thought about it. I'm like, am I trying to get better at what I do? I'm like, let's say I've been doing this for 4 years. Am I getting better at it? Or am I just trying to be consistent? And I'm not sure if I agree with that. Do you need to be getting better? Or can you just be consistently practicing something that works, that's important? That's a pretty significant question for my life, because I am less attached on growth and ambition and more on consistency. Okay, I'm kind of getting a little off track. Gerbot says, how did you stick the patch on? I did use E6000. In the past, I've done this. I get patches and I put them on hats, and I usually use hot glue. But about every, like 40% of the time, I will get like a string of hot glue on the hat, and it kind of, or it spills out and it starts to yellow and it looks not as classy. So this time I was looking for my hot glue gun, couldn't find it, stumbled on my E6000, which is this crafting glue that is the best. If you're a burner, you should have E6000 and a hot glue gun, but E6000 is great. And so that's what I use on this one, and I'm so far totally pleased. It looks super classy. Brent saying, social media is a broad spectrum tool for compassion and empathy for me. The opposite of what you know is also true. That sucks. Michelle says, this practice has helped me and my mental health. So I thank you. Well, thank you. I mean, I think that my experience with gratitude practices is that they are way more effective when done collectively. You know, it's more motivating to continue to have this kind of what do you call it? Not accountability. That's the word. To have accountability and to feel like there's an incentive to be heard, and there's an appreciation of one another. There's a momentum that gets going that I'm so grateful for. So thank you for being a part and for your participation. Gerbot says, yeah, let's plan a celebration here too. I think that's a good idea. Even if it's not the exact birthday, maybe we should just plan well, I'll see if I can find the exact dates. It's got to be somewhat close to this. Good morning, Hope. I love all the E6000 appreciation. That would be a good Burning Man patch, just like E6000, the E6000 logo. It'd be like, if you knew, you knew. Like, or, you know, Burning Man is built on zip ties, E6000, and gaffer tape. I used to say duct tape, but duct tape cannot hold a candle to gaffer tape. Juan says, I'm grateful that today is National Burn a Snowman Day. Is that a real thing? We'll celebrate it anyways. Any more gratitudes people want to share? I keep catching my reflection, and I'm like, my mental image of myself is not what I see in the mirror right now. So it's always a trip when I go, whoa, I have a beard. I'm grateful that my partner is so understanding and so appreciative of my spirit, so that she doesn't get attached to the way I look. She met me when I had natural colored short hair, and then it went pink, and then it went bleached, and then it went buzzed, and then it went pink again, and now it is biblical. Gearbot says, gaffer tape, abso-effing-lutely, right? White gaffer tape to me is like such a good tool, because you use it to label things, you use it to fix things. It doesn't have the stickiness of duct tape, but it's super strong and it can attach to I could I would rather have gaffer tape, zip ties, and E6000 than a toolbox. I mean, granted, I don't know how to use a lot of tools, and I could borrow tools from other people, but when it comes to fix things, those are what I need. Thank you, Michelle. Gearbite is grateful for rolls of gaffer tape. Anybody else want to share any gratitude before we head out into our days? I'm grateful that we've got a technician coming today to fix our little fridge. This place we're renting came with a wine fridge, and it stopped working. But we'd already started to get used to it for using it for beverages and things. So I'm gonna have a technician come fix that. I am grateful that I've got a call with a coaching client today. I'm grateful that I've started to build my client list. I've really been enjoying working one-on-one with people. I mean, I love groups. I love this, and I'm finding a different rewarding experience in working one-on-one. Really, actually working with men. Like I feel comfortable. I love working with everyone, but there's with where I've been in my life and where I see so, how do I say it? I mean, there's been a thread going on in response to the posting about the men's group that I just did. And one woman, most of the comments are just like, this is so awesome. And when are you going to do more of it? And two interesting threads. One, a woman was like, why do we get caught up in masculine and feminine? Everybody's got both. And this is not helpful to distinguish and to separate us. And my thought is like, I mean, yeah. And again, we're not saying men and women, we're saying masculine and feminine. And even within that, and this will get me in trouble, but like I believe that the experience that my peers, I can't speak as to who's growing up in the world today, but if you grew up in my generation, your experience growing up as labeled a man or a boy, there are experiences that we have that are shared in the expectations of our culture and the way that we're treated and the things that we were encouraged not to feel or do or say or emotional. Like the experience that we had growing up is a unique shared one that is not the lived experience of someone who is raised as a girl or a woman. And so I think there's tons of work that women can do together trying to understand the experience that they had and how that affected and how you can liberate yourself from those limitations, as well as with men. And I just think there's incredible value. I've experienced incredible value to the places that you go and the reflections that you get when you hear and share experiences from men who are willing to really be vulnerable in those places. So, and because I've been more and more in tune with that, I've been feeling more capable and more beneficial to men who are also interested in doing that work and removing those obstacles. Good morning, Dawn. Sending us hugs from cloudy Utah. Thank you for being here. Good morning, Julie. Julie says, grateful for clarity on what I want to do with my time this year. Abundance and self-love on the horizon. And a death doula certification after 9 years of doing this work. Incredible. Beautiful, Julie. Yeah. Anybody else want to share any last gratitudes? Oh, the other thread that was interesting about the men's group was there was people saying, how do we get the men to do this kind of work that need it the most? The men who are being attracted to the Andrew Tates and how do we get those men and like another friend I know, Lester, who does men's work through Sacred Sons, he was saying that it's really through the women. Like the women will tell their partners, "You need to go to this," or I need you for us to evolve. You need to start doing some work on yourself, and so I need you to go to this men's group. And we had men in our group that were there because their partners, their wives said, "Please, please go." And so the thread was like, well, so maybe the marketing for men's groups should be to women and say, "Are you sick of your partner being a Neanderthal?" Or whatever, which I thought was a really interesting thread. And yet, I don't, it would be something very different. The reason why the one that I hosted last week was so good was because everybody showed up. Even the ones that were hesitant, like they were willing. And if you have people there that are dragged there, the safe container is going to be very difficult to build because it's kind of like, if the court orders you to go to rehab, what are the chances that you're really going to be committed and get off? You got to want to be clean. And I think the same is true with men's work. I mean, you gotta be willing to let go of beliefs and willing to be wrong and willing to let go of what hasn't worked for you. You can't do it because someone else is forcing you. Hope says, I sometimes feel the ones yelling we are all one gender, while technically correct in theory, are spiritually bypassing lived experiences in a dualistic society. That's what I'm trying to say, but you said it way better. Yeah. I would love to be dropped into a world where we are past all that, but I don't think that is the lived experiences of myself or most people I interact with. All right, we got a Utah party here today. Juan says, some days I miss the burn. Today I miss it more. I'm grateful that the way that I have designed my life, I feel connected to Burning Man culture in so many ways. Like this gathering, I don't know if everyone here has been to Burning Man or even is connected to Burning Man, but there is a burner vibe and feel. There is like a radical inclusion. There is a radical self-expression kind of encouragement. And I'm really grateful that most of the things that I'm involved with have that in the DNA. So whether or not I go to the burn this year, which right now I'm not planning on it, it doesn't change the fact that I'm a burner and that Burning Man is part of who I am. Hope is offering a prayer for a Burning Man brother, Damien High Def. Sending love out to Damien and his widow, Daniela. I also want to send out prayer and love to Macaroni, a friend of a burner who I didn't know him, but he's a friend, and apparently was a good friend of Steve-O, the Jackass guy. And I just saw a video tribute to him and just seemed like such an amazing guy. So feeling the collective grief of many today. Julie says, I come for the love and stay for the vibes. I think that's going to be our new marketing slogan. Michelle says, never been to the burn, but would have loved to. So a group of friends over the summer make our own Burning Man. I love that. I love that. Like Burning Man, the event is one thing. And the 10 principles as guidelines for community and growth are something else. And the event is a place to practice the principles, but the principles can be impactful in so many other formats and venues and ways. I mean, gifting is one of the core practices of my life. And its magic is not playa dependent at all, but practicing on playa is what helped me to see how much it could change my life. All right, well, we are well past half past the hour, so thank you for your patience and your presence and your gratitudes and helping me get over the hump of stiffness and creaky joints to get into this feeling of gratitude today. So wherever you are, give yourself a big old squeeze. Appreciate this body in whatever state it's in. Appreciate the ability to connect. Appreciate all of the people that we get to touch in our thoughts and our encounters. Recognizing that we're all so much more alike than we're different. We're all doing the best we can. And as we cross paths with people that might frustrate us or feel like they are going the opposite direction, know that they are doing the best they can with what they got for whatever reason. Their experiences, their influences, all the things that have influenced their mind and their path makes them believe that they are doing what is best for their loved ones. And no one wakes up and says, today I'm going to be a villain. Everybody believes they're the hero of their own story. So let's try to find compassion and try to recognize that we might be off base for so many things and just trying to find our way back to love and compassion and forgiveness for ourselves and for others as we take a deep breath in and hug one another. Feel me hugging you. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of you, beautiful love ambassadors, thank you for being here and being a part of this love morning. I love you. I should say, if I didn't already, oh yeah, I did. The new Stay Sparked episode with clips of Janus and stories from people that loved him is now live on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and YouTube under Stay Sparked. You can also go to the Remembering Red Moon YouTube channel and just see tons of clips of Janus being wise and witty. Thanks, everyone. Happy Thursday.